All right, Middle-Aged White Guy Reacts is back again today on a Tom's Day for another Tom MacDonald. It seems like almost every other Friday for the past couple of months have been a Tom's Day. He's been dropping a lot of music lately. Dropped his albums, okay, um, and dropped this song today. So, this is America by Tom MacDonald. Now, I had picked up the albums, right, and I have listened to them over and over again. This song is on the album, so this is not going to be a normal reaction video. All right, this song is awesome though. I've listened to it pretty much over and over again. Like I said, it'll be a different than like a normal reaction since I know this song. When he says something really cool, I might not get like as hyped as I normally would have from hearing it the first time. So I'm not going to be jumping out of my seat going, "Yes, Tom, yeah," like any of that stuff. So I don't know how this is going to turn out as a reaction because I can't fake being hyped. And since I've already heard it, I've already gotten my hype out of the way in my car while I was listening to this. So it should be interesting. Like I said, I know the song. I've heard it 100 times. And this is great. Great song. And I'm really glad that he did this one. Because the first time I heard it, I'm like, wow, this would make an awesome reaction. With that said, since I know the song, it's not a reaction anymore. So I don't know how this is going to actually turn out. But we're here. We got Tom. We got America. And let's do it. This might just be some discussion about it. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. Hopefully it turns out well enough that people enjoy it. But like I said, it kind of sucks because all the hype that I had for this song, I've calmed down. All right, because I've heard it. So, but anyway, let's do it. Let's get into it. This is Tom MacDonald, America.
Lately, USA is getting scarier. Half of the Americans I see all hate America.
Yep.
They hate the cops doing their best to take care of us and kneel for the flag and salt the soldiers that we're burying. I'm tired of the bitching and complaining why you living in America if all you do is hate it. You think it's brave to take a...
Well, and I kind of see that from both sides. Like, why are you living here if you hate it? But in America, we have the right to hate this country. It's freedom of speech. You are allowed to hate America, but it doesn't make sense that you would continue living in an area that you hate. All right, especially if you hate it for moral reasons. If you think America is immoral, unjust, etc., etc., why are you still living here? Why haven't you moved? And it's easy to say that, and it's harder to do. People say, if you're, why don't you leave California? Why don't you pick up your, if you don't like that state, if you don't like your state's laws, move to another state, blah, blah, blah. People have been established, obviously, in an area. They have their friends, their family, they're familiar, they're comfortable, whatever. So I kind of can see that from both sides. Like, it's not just easy to pick up and walk away from something and somewhere. But at the same time, if you absolutely hate it and think it's immoral, unjust, and evil, what are you doing? What are you doing? But I digress. Let's go.
And complaining why you living in America if all you do is hate it. You think it's brave to take a stand against the nation? Real bravery is dying for the right so you can say it. Dear America, what happened to Americans? Apparently no one's aware or cares that it's embarrassing.
And it is embarrassing when, this is how it's getting portrayed to the world. Because this narrative about how awful America is just getting pushed through the mainstream media. Other countries watch that shit. They see it. And it's embarrassing that's the perception that they get. So they think that, America's, really dysfunctional. And, it kind of is. But when you get... If you get away from, the overview of America, if you're not looking down at the top from America as a whole... And let's just take your local area, okay? My day-to-day life, I don't run into these people that we see on the internet, okay? I don't run into these, they're not out there. They're very few and far between. Maybe if you go into, certain bigger cities, you'll run into them more. But, yeah, if you look at your local area, though, it's the America that we've always known. Besides maybe some of the policies that are going on right now with certain... things, that are, yeah, it's absolutely embarrassing when you know that the world is looking and they're getting this picture, and I know that that's not necessarily the truth. Kind of is, but, you know, like I said, when you look at America as a whole, and the politics from the top down, it seems this way. But when you just get into the normal day-to-day lives of Americans, at least in my area and the places I travel to, it's the same as it ever was, typically. That's why I say people like me who think like me are the majority. Okay, we are the majority. We're just very quiet. Okay, and we have a very loud minority who is shaping the narratives, the direction of our country, and how we're viewed on the world stage. And we are allowing them. We're allowing them to do that.
Dear America, what happened to Americans? Apparently no one's aware or cares that it's embarrassing, it's arrogance. Our greatest enemy was always slavery and terrorists, and now it's people in the country trying to burn the heritage. I can't help it.
Yep, and like I said, Samson just did a song, and I said, you know, we should, our leaders, okay, should be taking American exceptionalism and shoving it down the throats of foreign countries. I'm sorry, you know, there's nothing wrong with believing we're the best, to, you know, loving America and what we were built upon, all right? But yeah, we have this certain section who are trying to destroy our heritage, to say that, you know, to love America or to believe this and that, you know, makes you immoral, makes you whatever. You know, all the words that they throw around. We don't need to get into them, and all the reasons why. But yeah, and we're kind of letting that go. So it's kind of, people who do still love America feel like they don't want to say it sometimes, you know, depending on where they're at, what they're doing, because they've made it to where you're a nationalist, a supremacist, you know, all those words, just because you're proud of who you are, where you're from, okay? And I'm sorry, I'm proud of everything about myself, from the color of my skin to where I live to the country I grew up in, everything. Okay, I have no shame about any part of me or my life at all. None. So, you know, we need to get back to that. And we cannot allow people to not destroy our heritage, but to basically put a lid on it so that we're like ashamed to express our heritage. You know, it's ridiculous.
Slavery and terrorists, and now it's people in the country trying to burn the heritage. I can't help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or liberals, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it...
And what do we hear when we start to say, hey, you know, this is like BS, this is un-American. Oh, well, that's a private company, that's a private platform, blah, 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 blah. If our politicians cared, you know, they would make the internet a utility. Because essentially that's what it is at this point. And they should treat it as such. Okay? AT&T is a private company. They can't cut phone service to me if I'm paying my bill because I said something on their phone lines that they didn't like. Okay? They can't shut my water off because they don't like who I would vote for in the next election. You know, that's not how America works. But people are trying to hide behind, oh, private platform, this and that. You know, it's and it's just a way to circumvent the Constitution and for the government to have plausible deniability. We're not doing it. It's this platform, it's that platform. They're private companies. It's like, you know, you're in cahoots. You know you are. So, you know, it's ridiculous.
Interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will.
You know how you beat cancel culture? Now, granted, a couple of different ways to cancel somebody. So, first, like celebrities, athletes, or whatever, they try to shame them, get them to apologize, and then once they do, they double down even harder on their accusations. And since you've apologized and admitted guilt, then you're a horrible person now, and they're going to ruin your life, and you're going to get fired from all your projects. You're not going to get hired for anything new anymore, and they crush you. Or, you know, if it's someone like me, they can just lop off my channel, and I'll have no recourse. The first set of people, though, that have a little bit more standing and can't necessarily just get silenced, how you beat cancel culture is you don't apologize. Don't ever apologize. Don't bend the knee. Because as soon as you do, that's an admission of guilt, and they double down. So stand firm. If you said it and you believe it, stick by it. Be a man. Have a backbone. Stick by what you said. And when they demand apologies, tell them no. Who was it? There was a former tennis player, really good. He was #1 in the world for a while back in the day. He's retired. He's older now, but he was talking about Serena Williams, and he was trying to compliment the girl Serena on a show or something, or a podcast, and he said she's the best female player in the world. And the host was like, best female player? Why not just best player? He's like, because she's not the best player. She's like, she's not the best player. And that caused a lot of outrage. He goes on another show, and they immediately, before before they even get into what happened, the one host is like, I just want to know if you're ready to apologize. And he's like, no, I'm not apologizing. And he stood strong, and he would not back down. And he said, hey, she's like the if you just combine the men and the women, she would be like the 700th best in the world, which is still pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. That wasn't good enough for the hosts. If it's Serena Williams, since she's a woman and she's the best woman, she obviously has to be the best tennis player. It's like, that's not how that works. But yeah, he refused to back down from that statement. And I think if he would have, that story would still be going on. He kind of put the lid on it by just saying, no, I'm not doing it. So that's how you handle that. Don't apologize. You will never see me apologize for an opinion of mine on this channel. I might apologize like for wording. Okay. Like if I say, but that's my choice. There's no one's going to say in like the comments, like, you need to apologize. We hate you, blah, blah, blah. And like the next video I make, I'm going to sit here and grovel to you guys. Fuck that. Fuck that. You're never getting that from me. So
left opinion. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets.
The one thing I do have to say, though, okay, the police are not doing themselves any favors. At least in like the bigger cities, they're enforcing edicts and mandates. Okay, which these people just shit on them. For how long? Make their jobs a whole lot harder. And then the police bend the knee to them and do their bidding. And I think, you have some sheriffs around the country who are standing up and saying, no, my officers will not be doing that. We're not going to enforce this or that, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like a majority are just following orders. Okay. So, yeah, we don't want to defund police, but at the same time, I realize that they are not on our side, everybody. Like, yes, we need them, and I want them. I don't want them to be defunded because I don't want my children being raised in Mad Max, okay? I don't want that. If it was just me, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm ready, let's go. But I don't want my family to have to live through that kind of world. So, yes, I don't want to defund them. But at the same time, I realize they are not on our side. Most of them. Most of them are following orders from the same politicians and leaders that have been shitting on them and making their lives miserable for the last 2 years. It doesn't make any longer than that since, Obama. But it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you gonna, it's like Munchausen syndrome or something. Like, it's fucked up. I don't get it. But yeah, that's the one thing I can kind of say, not that I disagree with Tom, but, you know, don't get it twisted, man. The cops are not as on our side as what we thought they would be when we started standing up for them. So.
You don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me.
Oh. We don't want anybody dead, so don't tread on me. Okay? Be careful how I say that, but I mean, that's a pretty bold statement. Like, we don't want anybody dead, so don't tread on me. Like, don't fuck with us. Okay? We'll leave it at that. You can kind of infer other things from that. That's a very hard line right there.
Protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, the freedom ain't free. In America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America, you say what we believe. My America, I won't ever take a knee.
Yep.
Freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes
offend you, then I'll help you pack your bags.
America. Does anybody know what the hell happened to the place?
So, you know, he's right. You know, our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. And that's what's great about America. Okay, but it has to be a two-way street, man. When you start clamping down on one side's freedoms of speech and promoting the others, you know, I mean, you're tilting the playing field. And that's not how America should work. You know, it's just kind of funny how, you know, our freedom is what allows you to disrespect our flag. But if you don't like it, we can help you pack your bags. You know, if you don't want this, we can help you get out of here. But like I said, that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. Like, it's easier to say that kind of stuff than to actually pull it off.
Lately, this nation is so ashamed and hating itself. Did everyone forget that people died to pay for this ungratefulness? United States gave everything they do just to help. I just want to celebrate Thanksgiving with my family. I don't need your help to understand it was a tragedy. Can I just be thankful for my country eating happily without you trying to guilt me for the genocide and casualties?
You know, and it's like, yeah, I'm sick of that shit too. And he's covered that in another song. I can't remember which one. It was almost the same bar. He changes the ending a little bit. I can't remember exactly how he words it, but, you know, hey, that's how the world worked back then. You conquered shit. Okay. You came, you saw, you conquered. That's how things started getting separated. That's how countries started forming. That's the way the world worked back then. Okay. That's in a way, that's kind of the way the world works now. All right. A bigger, better, badder group came in, took over your shit. Sorry. It's how it goes. It's how it goes. You know, nowadays it wouldn't be acceptable. You know, like if you know, there's like a little country and we just went in there and, you know, just committed genocide and took over that land. Like, that would be kind of, you know, hey, what's going on? But back then, man, it's how the world worked for thousands of years. Thousands of years is just conquering land was the goal. So, sorry you lost, guys. I'm sorry you lost, okay? Sucks, but it is what it is.
Just be thankful for my country eating happily without you trying to guilt me for the genocide and casualties. I can't help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't black or white, it's conflict designed by the system.
Yep.
I don't need your pronouns, all I see is men and women. Kids are taking pills for fun while people can't afford prescriptions. If you don't let it go, hey.
Yeah, it's funny how they can get, you know, a hold of whatever they want, all the good stuff. You know, you get all the good stuff. Kids can find Xanax, Percocets, what's the, oh my God, what's the big one for, like, focus nowadays? It's, God, oh, Jesus Christ. All I can think of is Ativan. It's not Ativan. It's, shit, it doesn't matter. But yeah, kids can find all these pills, all right, and you get all fucked up on them. But, you know, your grandma can't afford her blood pressure medication. You know, it's funny. It's funny how, you know, there's just access to everything that's addictive and fun. But blood pressure medication, you know, anti-nausea stuff, yeah, it's I don't know. It's just interesting to see. It's like, you know, they could easily clamp down on that and make, you know, but hey, yeah, who knows? Who knows?
As men and women, kids are taking pills for fun while people can't afford prescriptions. If you don't like it, go. Hate it, then don't call it home. We don't need no violence, got no time for all you radicals.
Nope. And that's what it is. It's the radicals. And like I've said 100 times on this channel, you have an extreme left, you have an extreme right. The extreme left is way bigger, way louder, doing way more work in this country than the extreme right. You know, what has the extreme right done? Okay, the right protested January 6th. A few people went into the Capitol, and they're trying to make a federal fucking case out of it now. You know, we had the Summer of Love on the left. The Summer of Love, where they take over sections of cities. All right, that's an occupying force at that point. And that wasn't a big deal. Was not a big deal at all. All right, so like I said, like both sides suck. I don't like extreme right. I don't like extreme left. Everybody, right of center, left of center, there's some common ground that we can work with. You know, yeah, we're not going to agree on everything, you know, because you see it naturally from different ends of the spectrum. But I think if we lopped off the ends and kept everyone kind of in the middle, not in the middle, you know, you have your left and your right, obviously. But I think the discourse would be a lot more productive in this country. And, you know, the two extremes do not deserve a seat at the table. I'm sorry. They do not deserve a seat at the table. We don't have to acknowledge them. We need to the rest of us sane people need to come together, fuck these two ends of the spectrum, and, you know, start making moves to better this country and our situation. And like I said, they have, especially the extreme left, they have worn out their welcome at this point, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't even see them when I'm like discussing this kind of stuff and I'm saying we need to unify, stuff like that. I'm not including that group. I'm not including the far right either, but they're like much smaller than the extreme left. So, yeah, when I'm talking about like unifying and that kind of stuff, I am excluding those groups because they're too far gone.
In America,
yep.
Free in America.
He ain't kneeling for the anthem because the flag is what he's standing for. And this is a Canadian, okay? And he's come here and seen how great America. He's come here during a time where all this shit is going on, and he still can see how great this country was. I've lived here my whole life, and I know how great this country is, and now I'm seeing how it's trying to be changed, and I don't like it. He's coming in during the change and being like, oh my God, this country is great. Like, we have to fight for this, you know, blah, blah. And it's just funny that even a Canadian coming here can see the difference and can embrace American heritage. When people who have lived here their whole lives, especially the younger generations, for some reason think they can't stand it here, but, you know, probably never been outside of our borders anyway in all their lives, and just listen to their teachers and college professors and the like. So
I'm standing for in America, the freedom ain't free in America. Got soldiers dying overseas, so America, you say what we believe, my America, I won't ever take a knee. Our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes offend you, then I'll help you back your bags. America, you can hate the government and still love the country.
yes. And I think I said this in a recent video, that you don't have to agree with everything from your political spectrum, okay? Like I said, I'm not like right or left. I lean more right because my biggest thing is the Constitution. And the GOP still at least has to pretend like they care about that document, okay? The left has abandoned it a long time ago. They use it when it's convenient for them, but any other time, it's just a piece of paper they can wipe their asses with. So when I vote, I tend to vote conservative because, like I said, they're still in a position where they're still playing this game that they have to pretend, okay? But our politicians left and right, And I'm talking about the establishment politicians, the ones who actually run shit. Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Chuck Schumer, these types of people. They are the same thing with the same goals, and this is a facade. All right, this is a game. They are screwing us the same way with the same end goal, just going about it slightly different ways. And like I said, the left has conditioned their constituents that the Constitution doesn't really matter anymore, where the right still hasn't broken us of that document yet. All right, so they still have to play that game where they're pretending like they care about it. But, it's... Yeah. Hold on. Forget what he said here.
America, you can hate the government and
yes, that's what it was. Okay, that's my point. So you don't have to agree with these people, okay? I didn't agree with everything that Donald Trump did, and I still really enjoyed his presidency. You can understand that Joe Biden should be in a nursing home, and that doesn't make you a bad Democrat, okay? You don't have to agree lockstep with everything that they say. The world isn't black and white. It is shades of gray. And you don't have to, you're not beholden to everything that your side does. You don't have to like everything that your side does. Your side. Because they've made it your side and my side at this point. But yeah, you can hate government, you can hate the officials, you can hate your own party members, but you still love this country.
America, you can hate the government and still love the country. The fundamental values of America are concrete. Republicans and liberals are dumb, to put it bluntly. They're labels that they use to create chaos and corruption.
Like I said, it's especially the elites. Now, there's some congressmen who are actually there and they're new. So they don't understand how this works yet. And they're actually going in and trying to create change. And you're one person against 400. So, there's no chance because the establishment's too ingrained. They're not going to allow that shit to go on. People like AOC, if her ideology wasn't so dangerous, she would be amazing because she challenges the establishment. Whether it's controlled opposition or not, I just think she's actually to kind of push a more progressive agenda. I think she's a plant, essentially. But if she did not have such a dangerous ideology, she would be an amazing Democrat. All right? But with who she is and what she believes, it makes her extremely, extremely dangerous for this country. So you can't even appreciate that from her. But yeah, there's Republicans like that, like Howley, is that the guy's name? Who actually give a shit, and Jim Johnson, who actually give a shit. But other than that, like I said, it's all the same game. It's all the same game with the same end goals. They're just going about it from two different ends of the spectrum.
You can know the history and still be proud of where you're from. Every flag around the world is covered in a little blood. We started out.
And like I said, that's how the world worked back then. Every flag is covered in a little blood. Every country had to do something to establish their borders. Every country has done some foul shit. All right. Back, hundreds, thousands of years ago, whatever. It is what it is, man. That's how the world worked back then. It was conquering land was the goal. That was it. However that had to happen. All right. Bigger countries came to littler countries and tried to either extort them for, resources and goods, people, whatever, made them slaves, whatever, or they just ran roughshod over them and took their land. That's how that worked back then. All right. Sorry. I'm not going to be ashamed of it. I'm not going to apologize for it. It happened well before me or most of my, any of my ancestors and most of my family tree, even going back, were even around. So what the fuck you want me to do about it? And it is what it is. And you just have to accept that and move on. You cannot find one country right now out there who has been completely 100% moral throughout its entire existence. You know, yes, we ran roughshod over the Native Americans here. So what? You know, sorry. What do you want me to do about it, though? You know, you lost. Like I said, you guys lost. It's all there. It was a war and you lost.
And still be proud of where you're from. Every flag around the world is covered in a little blood. We started out United States, divided is what we've become. If home is where the heart is, you should show America some love. In America, your freedom ain't free. In America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America, you can say what we believe. My America, I won't ever take a knee. Our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes offend you, then I'll help you pack your bags. America.
Like I said, I wish I wouldn't have heard this before this reaction, because this would have been awesome to actually record a reaction to. But knowing the song, I knew what was coming up. Hard to get like super hyped for that. You know, when I've already processed my hype, and you know, it is what it is. But that'll be the reaction. Middle-aged white guy is out. Peace.